guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the first generation of the Skoda Octavia and this happens to be the RS model which comes courtesy of Inam to me. So thank you so much for lending me your 20-year-old pocket rocket. Now this is the key of the vehicle which is very similar or identical to the Polo as well as the Vento and all of the other VW group cars. Okay, unlock the car, lock the car. It's a flip key of course. Let's do one thing straight away. Let's open the engine bay, which means I have to push this lever on the left side. Okay, it's a bit of an effort, but there, oh my god, it's super heavy. It has all the stickers in the world, but no insulation. This engine is very unique because it gets 5 valves per cylinder. It says 20 valve turbo. There's an aftermarket air filter here. Of course, it was running on stage 3, but that's gone. So the stickers are compensating for the lack of modified horsepower here. Plenty of stickers and there you can see the massive radiator. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's just shut this. It's super heavy here. It's like crazy heavy. It's not shut. I still have to push it down. That is the level of weight and craziness. I like the grille, of course, the Skoda logo, the old one. And you have got plenty of these on this car because this is of course the RS model. Lights look beautiful. In fact, it gets headlight washers which unfortunately do not work. In fact, quite a few things are not working on this car and the owner tells me that service is not that expensive but getting parts is difficult and very expensive. Obviously this is quite old. He's actually added this sort of a lip spoiler at the front which really compromises on the ground clearance, which is already low because this car was already lowered, and from certain angles it gives you that BMW vibe. It looks mean, it looks really very nice. I love the design. Coming to the side of the car and you will realize it is very sporty here. This is where you realize it is actually quite low. In fact, this is the car which was launched in 1996. Then it was given a facelift in 2001 and it was launched in India with the facelifted model. This one, the RS, came in 2004, but this is the detuned powertrain. Lot of stickers here including the RS1. Now these are actually the stock alloy wheels which have been given this white color powder coating, I believe. 205 60 16 is the size of the tires. You get this black body cladding. You get this carbon fiber sticker which reduces the weight of the car by actually adding more weight to the car. Just kidding. Coming to the rear, this is where the fuel goes. Let me just show you what exactly is an old Skoda car. Okay, door is so heavy, it's so heavy that I just have to nudge it like this and then, okay, check this out. It actually shuts with a crazy thud. This is built like a complete tank. Take that, soft closed doors, because it just shuts so fluidly and nicely. Now the original RS came with a smaller spoiler. This one has a WRC spoiler which is bigger and adds to downforce once you go above 250 km per hour. But unfortunately the top speed of this car is only 235 km per hour. The classic Octavia logo, VRS written here. Lights look kind of plain and basic now, but you know what? This thing weighs lesser thanks to carbon fiber stickering which adds weight and reduces weight mentally though. And let's open this. This is so heavy now that I can't even open it with one hand. That's the level of weight it has. It's absolutely crazy. Oh my god. It's like a workout. And obviously the rear windscreen goes along with the boot, which gives it a massive boot, enough to spam it with as many speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers as much as possible. The audio system isn't that great as such because I think some of the speakers have been disconnected. The owner is like, "Mujhe nahi chahiye ye sab." He bought it for I think 2.5 lakh rupees 2 years back, this car, and he's having a lot of fun with it. The spare wheel is full size right below and is an alloy. It was that time when, okay, yeah, it has a power tailgate. Check this out, okay, power tailgate. Oops, that sounded loud, but it is so heavy. Everything is so heavy. Another VRS badging. All these badgings now actually add to the power of the vehicle. You get this diffuser treatment which is again carbon fiber, dual exhaust which puff out so much carbon monoxide that your lungs better be careful, and you get rear parking sensors as well. I like how this black color thing now tries to reduce the visual bulk, although this car doesn't have any visual bulk as such. That spoiler also has this carbon fiber sort of finishing which is kind of cool. Oh my god, I love this car. I have so many stories to share about it, but we'll do that when we are driving. You get this antenna there. Now rear seat space isn't bad at all. Firstly, the doors open almost 80 degrees. That's very wide. Yeah, the doors are so heavy. Now aram se like pivot very easily and open so smoothly as well. And okay, there's this button I need to press. Faisal, kya kar rahe ho? Pehle seekh ke aaya karo. Yeah. Okay. It has a 40-60 split. If you want to increase the massive boot even further, and then the parcel shelf is so big that you can install speakers there. So first things first, let me tell you, this thing seems a little scooped out. Legroom and knee room is actually decent. Knee room is not that good because I don't know what is this thing. The seat ka mechanism is like jutting out there, which makes it very uncomfortable for your knee. But yeah, legroom is actually quite good. Under thigh support is bad, but yeah, this is an old car. Headroom is just about adequate for someone as tall as me. There's a hook as well as a handle. No height adjustable seat belts, of course. And you get a center armrest, which by the way has some storage space as well. You see the RS badge on the seat. No center headrest because center passenger never gets a head, and there's this hump in the center as well. Let's not forget that. Okay, this thing opens, so there's some storage space there. Look at the dashboard, it's so classic. It looks so amazing. I love it. Okay, I love the way the power window control has been given. You just press it and it comes down. Door pockets are small at the rear, like quite small, but some amount of leather here and there. So this car had quite a bit of modifications when compared to the regular Octavia, which made it an absolute beast of sorts. And you know what, I remember when I had seen the Octavia back in the day, 2002 or something of that sort, I pressed the button on the key and all the windows rolled down, and I was absolutely gone mad on it. I'm like, ye kaise ho gaya? Like, what is this? This is an autonomous car or what? And I was obviously in school and a kid. Okay, beautiful treatment here, power window controls, which don't feel flimsy at all in spite of the age. Door pockets could have been larger. This also got these sportier pedals and a proper dead pedal as well. Some storage space here, that is the OBD port, I believe. This obviously you have seen in the Polo headlight level. These are controls for the headlights. It got these Recaro seats, sportier seats, which were difficult to adjust because of these levers, you know. So if you want to move it behind, you have to keep circling. By the time you circled, some other driver would come into the car and then obviously had to readjust. Okay, height could be adjusted easily, I think, but you know, moving the angle was such a pain. I love the way the dashboard has been done. It's very simple. It's very focused on performance. So first things first, let's open the sun blind of the sunroof. And okay, it was easy to open the sunroof like this. Light controls here. There's a mirror here, and I think there is a mirror here as well. Oh my god, this one is cracked because of the performance. The mirror only got cracked when the person got onto the throttle. Got climate control, air conditioning. I love the way the gear lever has been done with the RS badging there as well. Now let's do one thing. Let's turn on the car. Okay, it takes some time. Check this out. Okay. Oh yeah, it started quite fast with quite the rumble. I love the way the dashboard has been done. The glove box is lockable. It's decent size, not that big, but you know, this is actually soft. Hard plastic low down, but this is quite soft. And there's a hazard light here. It says Octavia and customize में से बीच के buttons चले गए. Buttons नहीं, text चला गया. Sort of carbon fiber finishing. This is the rear defogger. This is to open the fuel lid, which is in the wrong place. But you know, when you downshift, okay, get into first, you realize you need to press this button as well because you need more fuel as the car is going to drink more fuel. Climate control, air conditioning system right there. Okay, seems to work quite nicely as well, but makes this fluttering sounds. I've shut it for the moment. This is aftermarket, of course. And there's an ashtray here. There's an ashtray here as well. Handbrake has this nice leather treatment, and there's this switch which has buttons which turns on the NOS. I'm just kidding, these are dummy buttons. This does nothing but carbon fiber finish there as well. Getting into reverse, well, push it down like this and there you are in reverse. It doesn't tell you you're in reverse. Airbag warning is a complimentary thing of all old VW Skoda cars. That's like something basic. Steering is so small and nice to hold the horn. The exhaust does the job like this. Okay, some stickers here as well. These are the controls for the indicators, and the stocks have that reassuring feel to it. These are the controls for the wipers. Let's use the wipers right away. How do I activate the spray? Things were a little different back in the day. Yeah, I don't think there is any water. I don't think the spray is working at the moment because I'm pressing the button. Nothing is happening. Just the wipers are working. That's it. No auto dimming mirror, but this is the mic, which is aftermarket, of course. Let's open the sunroof, which will not work at the moment because ये पूरा उबड़ खाबड़ हो चुका है. No audio controls on the steering wheel. It's about pure driving feel, pure focus on the driving aspect of this vehicle. So I think we should start driving. What do you say, guys? Let's go! All right, we're all set to go, which means let's turn on the car. Rose to life. This ticket holder thing is here as well, and you know what, there's a very soft button which you have to activate, and the steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. and my seat is also adjustable for lumbar. That's so amazing. Okay, and these vents, they open so smoothly. I thought they might be broken because I've seen that in older Skoda cars, but no, this one operates so smoothly as well. Clutch is gone completely. We are into first gear, and then oh my god, the steering is very heavy here, like super heavy. These are actually the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment, which is the standard norm, and chrome colored door handles as well. The instrument cluster lights up when you turn on the light, so that's kind of nice. And then it's kind of a basic unit, but some RS bits here with some sportiness. With I don't know, I don't see any red bit, but you know, बीच में वो जो actually MID के लिए होता है ना for newer Skoda Volkswagen cars, that's actually for the telltale lights, and you got two displays. One is for telling you the fuel consumption, other is for the trip meter and all, so you can browse through a few of those things. Car feels extremely heavy to drive, and Zahoor is sitting behind because the front left door does not open, and when Zahoor closed the rear door, he's like, it sounded like an earthquake just came. Okay, low end tractability not that great because of this turbocharged engine having quite a lot of turbo lag. And then first things first, you have to angle the car over speed breakers because that front lip might just touch. I just feel like I'm driving an AMG already, and off we go. So it has this very sober character at lower speeds because yeah, this turbocharged engine doesn't have that low end grunt. It was very good in the mid range, and this car also gets xenon lights, which is kind of cool. They had given it a lot more features because most of the changes were cosmetic as such on this car. I just wish the horn worked because the horn is such an important feature to have, especially in the place where I am driving. And then yeah, it kicks in around 2,500 RPM, somewhere around that. You can feel the motor becomes aggressive. It sounds also nice. Ride is on the stiffer side. Of course, the steering wheel is hydraulic. It's extremely heavy too, but it is full of feel. It's like a go-kart. It's like a point and shoot, and the balance is really very nice. The weight distribution, in spite of all this, still the ride is absolutely unbelievably good. Like wow, I never expected the ride to be so nice, but it is. And I don't know why it's fogging up all of a sudden, but yeah, we'll use the wipers whenever we can. Not that it's going to help in any way. And then obviously when you encounter a speed breaker, you have to be a little careful. Now you guys are like, thoda accelerator to maro, so here we go. Gearbox is surprisingly a bit notchy. The clutch is still gone completely, but the gearbox is super notchy, which is going to open the window a bit. Front windscreen can breathe a bit. Or let's do one thing, let's just stop and launch. Audio quality you heard is actually quite nice. Hazard lights off, into first gear, revving the motor. First gear 70 almost, and it keeps wheel spinning to glory. My god, the clutch is completely gone, but the acceleration is insanely awesome. Ho, ho, ho. Crosses 100 kilometers per hour in second. It does it with such enthusiasm. So this is a 1.8 liter engine which is turbocharged and has 20 valves, which is 5 valves per cylinder. This is the same engine which also powered the GTI, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, and the Polo GTI was not existing at that time, I believe. But it also powered, guess what? The Audi TT. Yes, I remember driving the Audi TT with a 1.8 liter engine in Midtown Madness in Chicago. So I know this engine is absolutely crazy. It produces 150 horsepower here, and torque output is 210 Newton meters. Although globally it was sold with 180 horsepower, but in India it was detuned, so did not have that performance upgrade when compared to the regular Octavia as such. But 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 7.9 seconds. Top speed 235 kilometers per hour, which makes it quite quick. I'm so surprised by the level of compliance of the suspension, even though the suspension has been stiffened. I mean, it has independent suspension all around. The car has been lowered, but still, it's quite unbelievable the way it performs. Okay, there's a lot of traffic there, so we're just going to take it this side. And it also gets cruise control. That's a feature which was not heard of much during those times. Okay, you have to rev the motor a bit to get going with some enthusiasm, otherwise it's not that impressive an engine. And here we are going to come to a halt. Brakes are okay, it kind of feels soggy, but upgraded brakes here as well, and red brake calipers if you notice, and off we go. 7,000 RPM, but the problem is now the front wheels keep spinning and spinning and spinning. They just keep spinning and spinning. My seat is actually moving ahead and behind, so the seat is not in place. So some of the things are not really like stood the test of time here. But I think we are going to pick it in second now, because second gear is where the action lies, because you can reach 100 in second. In fact, in third gear you can drive all day long. Only thing is you have to contend with the turbo lag. These roads are so terrible. 2 बूंद बारिश गिरी, पता नहीं रोड पूरी टूट गई. Fuel efficiency depends how you drive, but should be somewhere between 6 to 10 kilometers per liter. That Eco guy is a complete boss. He just nailed it. Turning radius is an absolute bitch in this car. I'm not able to take a U-turn only without taking like 5 to 7 reverse and front and all. That's the craziness. But you know, engine is so refined. It's unbelievably refined. This motor, so smooth. You can't hear a thing unless and until you go mad onto the throttle. And when you do, you heard that sound, didn't you? The steering is actually small in terms of size, and that is the reason why it really feels awesome when you're cornering the car hard and fast. So it kind of has this go-kartish sort of a feel. Only thing is that low end is kind of lacking, and that was kind of the silence before the storm. Now this is front wheel drive. It's just not able to put all that power down, and I think the tires have also gone, so it keeps spinning. No traction control here, although traction control was offered globally, which they also had a limited edition version, 100 of those, which had WRCS scheme, white colored, which did not obviously make it to India. The price was around 13.5 lakhs ex-showroom. So I think around 15-16 lakhs on road was the price of this car back in 2004. So let's do quickly a history lesson on Škoda. Škoda was a state-owned company owned by the Czechoslovakia government. I can't even pronounce the name of the country, so bad I am with pronunciations. But Czech Republic owned Škoda, and because obviously anything made by the government is kind of shit. So then they decided around the 80s, 90s that okay, let's get further investment from a car maker so that we can improve our products. And there were, I think, around 30 people who were interested to take over Škoda and invest in it. Wow, that's amazing. Nobody wants to invest in my business. But anyways, so when that happened, 8 were shortlisted and 2 were finally shortlisted. One was, of course, Volkswagen, which eventually took over the company, and the other one happened to be Renault. The government was more inclined towards Renault because of the strategy which they had planned, but the union was not, because Renault was going to kill the production in the current factories of Škoda. So then finally VW Group took over and they invested, I think they took 30% shares, and then they keep increasing it, and then finally they took over the company completely in around 2000s. The first model which came out was obviously the Octavia, since VW put their hands in it, and this was the model which I'm driving right now. The Octavia first generation MK1 was on sale for 14 years, from 1996 all the way to 2010. In fact, the facelift was launched around 2001, so we got the facelifted model in India, I believe. And the interesting thing was that they continued to sell the pre-facelifted model even though the facelifted model was launched in many countries. So they called it the Octavia Classic, and we know in India the second generation model of the Octavia was sold as the Laura, because they wanted to continue selling the Octavia first generation as well, side by side. So yeah, Škoda did try its luck by trying to be a Tata Motors in that regard. But anyways, the Octavia really worked for them. It's one of the most popular models. In fact, it is so good, the Octavia, that the 4th generation model, which was recently launched, has been received well. Only thing is, this 20-year-old car has a sunroof. The latest Octavia does not, which is quite baffling. I think the brakes are gone, the clutch is gone, but otherwise suspension also seems to be gone a bit. But yes, it's so much fun to drive this car. Only thing is, if you get one now, you have to be really like mindful about maintenance, about service costs, about part availability, about upkeep and all those things, because those are things where people have like faced issues with the older Škoda models, and that's something which Škoda is trying to change with the MQB A0iN Project 2.0 models, although those do not have even half the build quality of the older original Škoda models, because even the latest Octavia does not feel as well tied together or put together as this one. This just feels like a tank on wheels, and this is about driving pleasure. It's not about comfort, it's not about luxury. And the Octavia should have been retained as a car completely focused towards driving pleasure and not a car which is focused around comfort. Unfortunately, that has not happened because now the latest generation Octavia is more about comfort. That's why the last generation Octavia RS 245 or the 230, they just feel so much better to drive compared to the latest Octavia, which has kind of lost its soul, which is very unfortunate. Now, talking about the story which I was talking earlier in the vlog, I think I was in 8th and the year was around 2003 or 4. That time I went with my dad to see the Octavia because there was a Skoda showroom near my school in Chembur, and I was completely baffled looking at 11 lakhs pricing with windows rolling down with a touch of a button, and Skoda as a brand was unheard of. And I was like, wow, these features are like out of the world. Into first, I'm going to launch it a little softly, otherwise it's just going to wheel spin, and then bus drivers have the right of way all the time. 7,000 RPM is absolutely not VTEC level in this car because of the turbo. It becomes kind of soft in the higher end of the rev range. So mid-range is where the whole action lies. The problem is the gear shift is a bit fumbly between first and second. So you can't have that momentum. So how do I reach from 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.9 seconds? That's something which is bothering me like crazy. And there's a 3-minute signal right in front. By that time, I think the 7th generation of the Octavia will be launched. After half an hour of driving all across Bangalore traffic, finally we've got an open road, which means into second gear. Oh, it's like crazy. Now finally we get to open it in third, and oh my god, the grunt in third is also very awesome. And you know what, when I lift off the throttle, the blow off valve makes this hissing sound which is not very apparent. Like you really have to stress your ears to hear it, unlike the modified Laura which I had driven, which had a lot more sound from the blow off valve. Here it is a little bit mellowed because that I think was modified. This is obviously OG, so yeah. Another interesting bit. Finally we are into fourth gear. Now this is a 5-speed gearbox. In fact, this is leather wrapped, the gear lever, which feels really nice to hold. I only wish first to second transition would have been a lot more smoother. And there's some sound coming from outside. And because when driving on Indian roads, you definitely are going to feel the brunt of the rattles, which can be felt in this car. Some amount of rattles, which you not expect from a traditional Skoda car, but then you know the amount of beating. Now this car is done, I think, around 110,000 kilometers as well. So yeah, it's been through a lot, and plus it's been also put to aggressive driving, racing and stuff like that. In fact, I was telling you it was running a stage 3 tune earlier, and that the dealer wiped it out somehow. You know, he just did a factory reset, so that tune went. Now we're going to get into third. It's just the turbo lag which spoils everything. It spoils you from pulling this car hard and fast. Now since this vlog is so big and I don't think I'm going to make another vlog on the first generation of the Skoda Octavia, let me tell you about the other engine which was on offer, known as the 1.9 TDI, which was very efficient. Didn't have much horsepower as such, I think 110, but because of the torque rush, it used to really offer good amount of performance and great fuel efficiency as well. In the days where diesel used to cost around 40 rupees per litre. No, not 40 rupees per litre, it was even less. It was like 25, 30, 35, somewhere around that. So imagine the kind of running cost. People used to buy an Octavia by investing more money just to reduce their running costs, which was kind of unbelievable. Here we are on to second, back open the throttle. The interesting bit is that today after 120 kilometers per hour, cars have this buzzing sound which is very disturbing. This car after 120 kilometers per hour has a jump of an additional 10 kilometers on the speedometer between speeds. So it's like 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, and after that the speedometer says beyond 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270. So that additional 35 km per hour buffer has been given by Skoda, knowing very well that people are going to modify their cars and they are going to try to reach the top speed which is on the speedometer, which is very much possible considering the kind of performance on offer. So guys, this is my vlog of the Skoda Octavia RS, the first generation model. It has a different mechanical feel, amazing to drive, totally driver oriented vehicle, and a whole lot of fun as well. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next Oh, look at that wheel spin. In the next video real soon. Bye bye.